3 and recognizes Chairman Metcalf to explain his bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, the antiquated practice of springing forward and falling back and changing our clocks twice a year is frustrating to many people in modern-day society. Some medical studies even show it causes health issues, including heart attacks and strokes, by altering the body's internal clock. House Bill 1393 would authorize the observation of daylight savings time year-round. However, please note the state of Texas would still need federal approval for this to occur. This bill was previously House Bill 1422 in the 88th legislative session, passed out of this committee 9-0 and passed the House floor 138-5. U.S. Senate passed the Sunset Protection Act in 2022, which would make daylight savings time permanent in the United States for states who choose to observe daylight savings time year-round. Unfortunately, this bill was not passed in the U.S. House of Representatives. Currently, states are only authorized to observe standard time year-round without federal approval. I believe we should stick to a time which allows for the maximum amount of daylight in the evening, and I know countless others who feel the same way. 1393 will allow that by authoring the state of Texas to observe daylight savings time permanently if the federal government passes legislation allowing states the ability to do so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, I would like to reserve my right to close.
Thank you, Chairman. So, Chairman Metcalf, I was just thinking, if we were to pass it, without the language that says if the federal government, like if we just pass it and say, in Texas, this is what we're going to do, wouldn't it go into effect unless they sued us, or the federal government sued us or something? Isn't that the way it would work?
So with this legislation, we need federal approval to
No, I'm saying if we
continue.
didn't have that provision about we need federal approval. You know what I'm saying? If we did it on our own and then,
Without,
yeah,
I don't know that answer, Mr. Raymond.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, it's just something to think about, because I feel like
Just do
it's a
it
big
without.
deal. Well, it's a
Yeah.
big deal for a lot of people, certainly in Laredo and I'm sure all over the
Yeah.
state. And it's just something that, if we take that step, Chairman Smithy probably knows the answer, but if we did it and just, hey, this is what we're gonna do in Texas, wouldn't the feds have to sue us to change it, to stop it? My resource witness says yes.
Yes,
So
right.
just for the record,
That's right.
thank you.
Members, other questions? We'll call you back up in a minute. Begin public testimony. Chair calls Gary Zimmerman. Mr. Gary Zimmerman registered for himself and is for the bill, not testifying. Chair calls JP. It's on now.
Okay, very good, thank you.
All right. We show you as JP testifying on behalf of Save Standard Time and Self, and you are against the bill. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, and I might add, I'm also the co-chair of the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time.
Okay, that's
so-
not how you're registered. Do you need to be registered to testify for that, or are you okay with how you registered?
If I could add that I'm also the co-chair of the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time, otherwise I could proceed as I am registered.
1 second. Can he add that?
If you would like us to add it.
Well, let's get it added.
Okay. What is the,
Could you say that again?
I
what
am
you want
also the
record to reflect?
co-chair for the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time.
so just say, do we have your permission to?
So we, just for the record, do we have your permission to add, that you're representing the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time?
Yes, sir, please.
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you for having me here.
I
My-
see what you did there.
My
Go
name is Mr. JP, last name is spelled PEA. I'm the president of the nonprofit Save Standard Time. I'm also the co-chair for the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time, a collaboration of 8 nonprofits for health and safety. I'm here to ask for your no vote on House Bill 1393. I would recommend amendment to permanent standard time or consideration of House Bill 1733 or 1736, also referred to the committee, but
Yeah,
not on this agenda.
we're only talking about this bill.
Yes, sir. Daylight saving time is a hidden government mandate to wake early and to sleep less. When you turn your clock forward an hour, your alarm clock in the morning will sound an hour earlier than it would have on standard time. And it will sound an hour early every day until you put it back on standard time. This means that people are sleeping less when we're on daylight saving time. It leads to a average loss of sleep every single night of 19 minutes. That chronic sleep loss leads to drowsy driving on dark roads, which costs hundreds of lives per year and millions of dollars. Permanent daylight time would worsen the problem, putting the sunrise in Texas after 8 o'clock when most school and work begins for 3 to 5 months, as late as 8:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning sunrises in the western half of the state. In 1974, Congress mandated permanent daylight saving time, and Texas led the fight to get it repealed. That's why permanent daylight saving time is federally prohibited, whereas permanent standard time is federally pre-approved. Now, many people might think that they like daylight saving time, but they actually like the summertime, and government cannot magically turn the winter into summer. Standard time is the honest-to-God sundial time, where 12 p.m. corresponds to high noon, and we divide the hours equally from there. It's what my grandfather, who was a farmer, taught me how to tell the time. Morning light is especially important for school children, for commuters, outdoor laborers, for service personnel. They need that morning light to feel healthy and alert, and to get a good education and to be productive in the workplace. This is the opinion of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, the American Academy of Neurology, the National Safety Council, even Bloomberg Editorial Board, and local resident Chuck Norris. Arizona, Hawaii, the 5 territories, and most nations observe permanent standard time. Mexico adopted permanent standard time just a couple of years ago, so this could be better for trade as well. Most states now are not considering permanent daylight time, but rather are considering permanent standard time, including Oklahoma, Nebraska, Missouri, North Dakota, California, and New York. I can name 20 others. Gallup just released a poll 2 weeks ago showing that nearly half of Americans want permanent standard time, only a quarter want permanent daylight time. And again, permanent standard time is federally pre-approved. You could pass permanent standard time, end the clock change this year, and be done with it. Permanent daylight time is a longer road to a worse place. I would ask you please to consider a no on this, amend it to standard time, or consider the other bills that I named earlier. I'd be glad to stand for any questions. Thank you so
for your
much.
testimony. Members, are questions? Seeing none, thank you for being here.
All right, Mr.
Oh,
Chairman,
wait.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Have you
Mr.
come
Metcalf.
by my office or anything to mention your concerns?
I'd be glad to visit your office this afternoon, sir.
It's too late in my opinion, but thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
All right.
Chairman.
Any other questions? No, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks again.
Chair calls Vincent. Dr. Vince? We're going to let you say your name for the record. Just for the record, would you state your name?
Yes, your chair. It's Dr. Vincent Myslevich.
Mys-
Myslevich.
Myslevich.
Yes.
Okay. So we show you as registered as Dr. Vincent Myslevich, and you are here to testify on behalf of yourself, and you are against the bill.
That is correct.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I am Dr. Vincent Myslevich, a sleep medicine physician, researcher, and recognized expert in the field of sleep medicine. I respectfully request you to oppose House Bill 1393, which would institute permanent daylight savings time. Permanent daylight savings time, as proposed in House Bill 1393, does not align with the human biologic clock. The biologic misalignment that results from this proposed bill results in awakening during darkness without sunlight. This significantly and negatively impacts Texans' health, safety, productivity, and economic success of their businesses. It is a matter of grave concern that cannot be overlooked. Permanent standard time, which is not on the bill, aligns with our natural, God-given light cycle. This is the optimal timing for the human biologic clock. permanent standard time, would optimize Texans' performance, safety, and productivity. It decreases the darkness in the morning, increasing the exposure to the sunlight, and helps to naturally awaken adults for work and children for school. I don't know how many individuals in this room woke up today with the darkness that we had to do when we came to committee today, but the sun didn't rise until 7:42. That's with us in daylight savings time. If we were in standard time, it would be 6:42, and awakening would have been easier for all of us. It's just the sunlight that God gave us helps us to awaken easier. Morning sun also improves our moods, alertness, and the overall health and safety and wellness of all Texans. Importantly, prior to the advent of bright lighting with LED bulbs, video screens, and technological advancements, daylight savings time from a business perspective may have made sense. However, technology today with the bright lights and screens has significantly overcome this obstacle. No businesses in this state suffer from lack of adequate lighting. However, Texans do suffer from problems falling asleep, sleep disorders, and medical disorders as a result of too much evening and nighttime light exposure. We just can't avoid nighttime light exposure today. As God intended, the importance of morning sunlight to awaking individuals naturally cannot be understated, which is only supported by permanent standard time. Permanent standard time is the natural and best strategy for Texans as opposed to daylight savings time, which is proposed, which is not required, and could be potentially harmful to us as Texans. I urge you to vote against daylight savings time as proposed in House Bill 1393 and in favor of permanent standard time and/or a modification of this bill. Your support is crucial in ensuring that Texans' health, safety, and productivity are not compromised. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, are questions?
Just a quick one, Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
Thank-
Angia.
Thank you. A quick question. Can you talk about the effect of sunlight on rhodopsin in your eyes and how that helps you wake up?
So what happens when we are exposed to sunlight is that our melatonin production is actually then turned off to a large degree, and melatonin is the naturally occurring hormone that's produced in our pineal gland that causes us to fall asleep. So what's going to happen then is really that by getting more sunlight in the morning, it's going to really terminate that melatonin production and result in us being more awake.
Thank you.
Members, further questions? Speaker Phelan, did you have?
No, my computer's talking to me.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members.
Chair calls Suda. Yeah, we're just going to let you handle this. Just for the record, please state your name.
It's Sudha Talawajula.
Okay? For the, we have you shown, for the record, as representing the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and yourself.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct? And just for the record, did the microphone, would you state your name one more time?
It's Sudha Talawajula.
Thank you for being here. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, and members of the House Committee. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk today. I am Dr. Sudha Talawajula. I'm a professor of neurology, epilepsy, and sleep medicine from the UT McGovern Medical School in Houston. I'm tempted to take Chairman King's suggestion and say ditto. I will probably add just a couple of things to the previous point about these large electrical cables, the nerves that go from our head from our eyes to the deepest parts of the hypothalamus. They don't just control melatonin and our sleep. They also control hormonal release. So things like insulin, you don't need that during sleep, or steroids. When we ignore these with our, these light signals with our portable electronic devices and God only knows what else, we increase the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and so forth. And I know that the Texas Congress is taking Texan health very seriously. And I was really happy to see that come up very, very recently, in fact. The other thing is also that I'm a mother, and I can't think anything worse than a grumpy teenager that I have to stuff in a car earlier in the morning with her brand new driver's license and send her into the dark, or make her walk even earlier to the school bus in the dark. or put her to sleep when it's still bright out. So on both a personal and a professional level, I would urge us to consider this bill very strongly and vote against permanent daylight savings, but amend it to permanent standard time, which is really the natural and honest way for us to deal with our health and brain. That's all I have to say, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you for
Thank
your testimony. Members or questions? Oh, Mr. Turner. Oh, and once, before we start that, let the record reflect that Representative McQueenie and Speaker Phelan are both present now. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for testimony. There's been a lot of, research and, discussion about the fact that the current system we have, where we switch back and forth, we change our clocks twice a year, and in the fall, maybe it's nice to get an extra hour of sleep, but it is a change in your biological clock, and then in the spring, you lose an hour of sleep, like we just went through a couple weeks ago, and also a change in biological clock. Do you think it's preferable? I hear your testimony that you think standard time is the best thing for our health. Did I understand that right?
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay. If we don't have standard time, is it better to maintain the current system where we switch back and forth twice a year? Or would it be better to go with Mr. Metcalf's idea, which is to have permanent daylight savings time?
It is preferable to have one time, to avoid the clock changes.
Okay.
That also changes our biology quite a bit. It's preferred to have one time, preferably standard time throughout the year.
Okay, I understand. So one time is the sort of the gold standard.
Absolutely.
And of that, you'd prefer standard time, but either one would be better than this current system of switching back and forth twice.
Actually, no. Surprisingly, most research suggests that having permanent daylight savings is probably the worst of the three options.
Oh, okay.
Even
So I
worse than
misunderstood
changing
what you said
clocks
initially.
twice a year.
So you would prefer keeping the current system to this?
To permanent daylight saving?
Yeah.
Probably. We used to do permanent daylight saving or daylight savings for like maybe 4 months, and then slowly became 6 and 8. But we see in health outcomes that people do much better when it's standard time. Insomnia, all of these sleep problems. I mean, look around you. 1 in 3 people have sleep problems. I mean, it's a lot of business my way, but that's not how we want Texans to be. So, really, people have more sleep problems, and I've seen it in my own clinical practice, and we know it from large research cohorts that when you have daylight saving time, there's a lot more sleep problems. So yes, it would probably be the least preferable of all three.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Members, other questions? No? Thank you for being here. I
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
your testimony.
Appreciate your time.
Chair calls Erica Boyd. So we show you as Erica Boyd testifying for the Texas Travel Alliance, and you're for the bill. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Chairman King, Vice Chair Hernandez, members of the committee, my name is Erica Boyd, President and CEO of the Texas Travel Alliance. I am testifying in support of HB 1393 by Chairman Metcalf. I'm here today on behalf of members of the more than 1.3 million Texans who work in travel and tourism across the state, the businesses that employ those Texans. Our industry encompasses attractions, airlines, airports, arts and entertainment organizations, destinations, museums, experiences, hotels, sports teams, sporting destinations, restaurants, and many more, primarily small businesses across Texas and doing business in Texas. Adopting daylight saving time on a permanent basis can benefit Texans and travel and tourism businesses and their employees across the great state of Texas. We believe that more daylight saving hours and this time in the evening allows Texans and our visitors to take advantage of the extra sunlight for outdoor activities like sporting events, festivals, or state parks without the need for artificial light. Also, the travel industry as an economic driver for the Texas economy, generating local jobs and sales tax revenue that are reinvested in our local economy and the state's budget. Travel and tourism businesses help to create our vibrant communities that visitors and our locals love, appreciate, and take pride in. Our travel industry has generated over $1.39 billion of economic impact to the Texas economy. Travel spending has also generated over $9 billion in state and local tax revenues, benefiting all Texans and our visitors. We believe that HB 1393 can help the travel industry continue to benefit Texas, and we ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, questions? Seeing none, thank you for being here. Is there anyone else wish to testify on for or against House Bill 1393? Not, seeing none, the chair recognizes Representative Metcalf to close.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. We've heard some testimony today about health issues, and, you know, I think it's good for mental health as well, going back to permanent daylight savings time, because me, for one, I like to get home from work and play with my kids outside when it's still light outside. So I think that's good for our mental health as well. So I appreciate you bringing this up, Mr. Chairman, and members who were on the committee last session. Appreciate your vote last time, and hope you'll support it again. I close.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no objection, House Bill 1393 will be left pending. Is there objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 1393 is left pending.